Hi, this is Joshua Ruskin, and I'm right now here in a rainforest retreat in Subic Bay. And I thought this week I'd talk to you guys about the four core concepts of marketing in general. And this applies to all forms of marketing, but I'll specifically focus more on online marketing just because it's primarily what I do. So let's jump right in. So the first core concept of marketing is that you have to understand you are buying leads. Whether that mean, for TV, radio, print, online, you're buying leads. And so how that, what that means in general is like with TV, you're buying, commercials at a commercial time slot, and that what you pay for that time slot has to do primarily with how valuable the audience is perceived to be and how big that audience is, the volume of the audience. For Google Ads, what I primarily do, what that means is how expensive and how competitive that search term is and where you rank in Google on the search results. And that's what you have to pay. And so regardless of how you're doing this and getting traffic for marketing, you're paying for it. So easy concept to grasp. So the second core concept of online marketing and marketing in general is it's always going to be competition. The competition happens with online instantaneously in a split second. So you have to understand that you have to find a way to be your competitors, because otherwise, if your competitors really have a very profitable niche against you, they're gonna outbid you until you're not profitable on what you're marketing on, what you're advertising on. So you have to find a way to make it valuable to you, and how you could do that is either you pay less, or you have a higher conversion rate, or on the back end, you make more money because it's more profitable for you. So again, you're doing this competitively, and you have to beat your competition somehow, and one of those three ways I showed you. So that leads directly into core concept number 3, and that is the only thing that matters to marketers and to business owners is cash flow. There's a really famous saying I like to repeat a lot, and that is revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is reality. So what this means is, I see this all the time when I see clients come to me and they show me their old monthly reports or their account structure, and I can see that their previous marketing company or their previous marketing employee was primarily focused on vanity metrics. They would have in the report something along the lines of like, this month you got 200,000 more impressions than the previous month, or 2,000 more clicks. Or, last month we were in position 3 on average, now we're in position 1, right? Who cares? It's all vanity. None of it actually means money. And that's the only thing that matters. So if you're not talking about cash flow, and with Google, that means CPA, cost per acquisition, if you're not talking that, it's all vanity. The only thing that matters is, again, cash flow, profit. There are some exceptions where you could say, hey, we're doing branding. With that branding, when you're doing that and you're trying to bring all that awareness, brand awareness, you're banking on the fact that in the future, you're going to take that cash flow in. So no matter how you slice it, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is money. Because in business, this is the unfortunate fact, 85% of businesses will fail within 3 years. So you have to be very empathetic and understanding and realize that running a business isn't easy. I can tell from personal experience. It's not easy, and most of them will go out of business. So you really have to care about the bottom line, which ties very nicely into core concept number 4, which is once you start getting data and really seeing the CPAs, you're going to want to optimize and drive it down as low as possible. You're going to want to do more of what is good and working and less of what is bad and not working. What does that mean? For let's say a TV commercial, right? If I'm advertising for Budweiser, I'm gonna have to find TV stations that are gonna primarily focus to the right audience. What's to say for, again, beer and Budweiser, what's the audience? I would say generally, let's just say young males, right? Male between, in their 20s and 30s. Now, does that mean that I don't want to bid and advertise to females or to young men, older men? No, I very rarely don't want to market to any one segment. What I would do instead, if this was Google Ads now, I would make my bids a lot lower if I was advertising for Budweiser for females and older males, so that even when even though I got much lower conversion rate, my conversion rate's going to be much lower than, again, what I assume the target market is young men. We're gonna make that back on the flip side of getting them for very low clicks. So conversion rate's lower, but our cost per click is lower. Therefore, I could still end up with a positive ROI, which low cost per acquisition, low CPA. And that's ultimately the goal, is getting as many conversions as possible for as cheap as possible. Now, sometimes I will not market to a segment. Let's say if I was selling yachts, right? A client that was selling yachts, I probably wouldn't advertise to poor people or really young folk or people in certain areas of America. I might want to just completely not market to them, just because I just know it's just not going to work. Otherwise, again, I almost always want to market to every segment. I just have to optimize and know, hey, this is these people have a very high conversion rate, therefore I can pay more, and these other groups have a very low conversion rate, therefore I have to bid less for me to get that profitable ROI and low CPA. So I'm going to do a quick refresher of the 4 core concepts of marketing, and again, this applies to all of marketing, not just online. Number 1, you have to understand you are buying traffic, you are buying leads. Number 2, you're doing this in a live auction. When you buy these leads, it's a live auction, so you've got competition that you have to beat. You have to find a way to make your ads more profitable than others. Otherwise, the competition will realize that it's really good for them, and they're going to start bidding more, and then you're going to have to pay a lot more for that same advertising slot or position, and you're going to start losing money advertising like that. Which leads to concept number 3, which is the most important part that I think most people have the hardest time grasping. The only thing that matters is cash flow, is CPA. And if you're not getting good cash flow, it's not worth it. Like you gotta cut it out or drastically reduce your bids and your costs on doing that. Whatever market or search term or a TV channel, newspaper, whatever it is, drastically reduce the costs or cut it out entirely. And last but not least, once you start getting data and start knowing what your CPA is, your goal is to drive down those costs. And so you're optimizing. You want to do more of what's working, do more of it or bid more for it, and cut the costs and do less of what's not working. And that way you can, over time, slowly, bit by bit, lower your cost to advertise, lower your average CPA, so you make, you're extremely profitable and the business stays alive for, hopefully for, infinity and beyond. So hope that was very helpful. This is my second video. If you liked it, like, subscribe, share, comment, and I'll do another video next week. Take care. Bye.